In our previous videos, we talked about one of the category of control statements known as branching. In that, we talked about if statements, conditional or ternary operators, and switch case statements. In this video, we are going to talk about another category of control statements known as looping. So without further delay, let's dive into this. If you are new to this channel and interested in coding and technology related stuff, then hit that subscribe button and click on notifications so you don't miss anything. So what is looping? It is a type of control statement where we keep executing statements or set of statements until a condition evaluates as false. So we have a condition, and as long as this condition evaluates as true, we keep executing same set of instructions again and again until this condition is evaluated as false. And this looping can be implemented in three ways. So in total we have three loops: while loop, do while loop, and for loop. Let's first talk about while loop. And as always, to understand this, we take an example. And the example that we are going to take is to display the numbers from 1 to 5. Let's first display these numbers without using a loop so that we will understand the importance of using a loop. To start with, we are first going to declare a variable of type integer, and let's name it num, and we are going to initialize this to 1 because we are going to start from 1 up to 5. And to print anything on the screen, as we know, we use a printf function. And the first value we are going to print is this 1, which is stored in this variable num, which stands for number in short. So we are going to print this num, which is going to print number 1. Next number we want to print is 2. So what we can do is to copy this printf function and paste it here. Now in this case, this is also going to print the same number, which is 1. So to print the number 2, what we can do is to first increment the value of the variable num. Right now it holds the value of 1. So incrementing that by 1 is going to produce 2. So this printf is going to print the value of 2. Similarly, we can keep going on like this. To produce the value of 3, we can simply repeat these two statements. So if I do that, this third printf is going to produce the value 3. And to produce the 4, we can repeat the two statements. So this fourth printf function is going to produce the value of 4. And for the 5, we do the same. And this last printf function, which is the fifth printf function in our example, is going to produce the value 5. And if you have watched my video on operators, you would know how this increment operator works. So this statement, this increment statement, is equal to saying num equals to num plus 1. So this is a shorter form of this statement. Now let's run this and see the output. So if I run this, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 printed on the screen. But as you can see, there is no space between them. So this looks like 12,345. To fix this, we can add a space starting from this second printf function. So before printing the value, I can add a space. Similarly for this third, this fourth, and this fifth printf function. Now if I run this, as you can see, we see the output as expected. Now with the help of this example, let's learn why we need a loop. Now what if I want to print numbers from 1 to 6? Well, I can simply repeat these two statements again. So this is going to print numbers from 1 to 6. What about 1 to 10? Well, I will need to repeat these two statements again for 4 number of times. And lastly, what if I want to print numbers from 1 to 100? Wait a sec. That is not going to be an easy task, as you have to repeat these two statements more number of times, hence increasing the number of statements in your program, which in turn is going to make your program look ugly, which in turn is going to be a very difficult task for testing or debugging of your program. Okay, so what can we do? Well, simply use a loop. And we are going to start with a while loop. So let's remove this junk. So the syntax of while loop starts with the keyword while, after that the parenthesis, and inside of this parenthesis we write the condition. Just like in an if statement we have a condition, similarly in a while loop we have a condition. And in our example the condition is if the number is less than or equal to 5. And after that we have the body of the while loop. As long as this condition is evaluated as true, all the statements in the body of the while loop will get executed. And the statement that we want to get executed as long as this condition is evaluated as true is the printf function, which is going to display the value of the variable num. If you notice carefully, this structure is similar to an if statement. Just like an if, we have a condition, and that condition, if evaluated to true, will execute the statements inside the body. So if I change this while keyword to if, this is a valid if statement, right? But the difference between the two is in the working. In case of an if statement, after this condition is evaluated as true, this statement gets executed, and after executing this statement, the control gets out of the body of the if statement. But that is not the case with the loop, and for that matter a while loop. So in case of a while loop, what's going to happen after evaluating this condition as true? The control is going to reach to this printf function in an example, so it's going to print the value of num on the screen. After that, the control is not going to go out of the body of the while loop. Instead, it's going to go back to the same condition. So that is the difference between the while loop and the if statement. So after it goes back to this condition, it's going to repeat the same process. It's going to check if the value of this variable is less than 5. Then it's going to go into the body and execute this statement one more time. Then go back to the same condition. So it's going to do this, repeat these process until and unless the value inside the num variable gets greater than 5. Then only this condition will be evaluated as false, which in turn is going to get us out of this while loop. But as you can see, there is no statement inside the body of while loop that is updating the value of the variable num. And if we keep it like that, the control is never going to come out of the while loop. And this is known as infinite loop. So to fix this, we must add a statement that should update the value of num. So with this increment operator, we are updating the value of num. So now when this is evaluated as true, and when this statement is going to print the value 1, after that this statement is going to update the value to 2. And then the control is coming back to the same condition, which is going to evaluate this condition as true because 2 is less than 5. Then it's going to print the value 2, and after that update that to 3, and coming back to the condition and check if 3 is less than 5. That is true, so this is going to print 3 and then update that to 4. Then coming back to the condition, is 4 less than 5? Yes, that is. Print the value 4, update that to 5, check the condition again, is 5 less than 5? No, it's not less than 5, but it is equal to 5, so this is going to evaluate true. Print the value 5, update 5 to 6. Now if we check this condition, is 6 less than 5? No, nor is it equal to 5, so this is going to evaluate as false, which is going to bring us out of this while loop. So if I run this program, we should see an output 1 2 3 4 5 on the screen. So if I run this, we see the output 1 2 3 4 5 on the screen. But as you can see, there is no space. To add that, we simply add a space after printing the number. And now if I run this, we see the space and the numbers 1 2 3 4 5. And if you compare this with our previous example where we printed numbers from 1 to 5 without using a loop, this one looks greener. And not only that, if we want to print numbers, say from 1 to 100, we simply have to change this 5 to 100. Similarly, to print numbers from 1 to 1000, we can change this to 1000. So we have this flexibility in this example where we use a while loop. But in our previous example, we don't see this flexibility. So to print numbers from 1 to 100 or 1000, we will have to repeat these statements more number of times, which is not going to be an easy task. So This example where we use a while loop is much convenient and much cleaner. So that was about while loops. And for the other types of loops, we are going to talk about them in the next video. And the assignment for this video would be in the description, which you can send on my email, which would also be in the description. So with that, we come to an end of this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care.